Welcome to the Des Child Show, your hour of encouraging talk and music. I hope you all had a wonderful and relaxing 4th of July weekend. I know we New Jerseyans experienced some really powerful thunder and lightning, plus the rain that came with it. My plans were actually canceled, unfortunately, but I was able to relax and spend some time with my family, which we all need. We all need that. We all need rest, and some of us need to learn how to rest. I mean, God even took a day off from creating the world, this awesome world that he made, so why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we have a day in which we don't work and we don't labor? You know, I love my husband, and I appreciate everything he does, but he is a workaholic. And when we feel that we constantly have to be doing something or working at something, I feel it's a lack of trust in God. We think that if we don't work, then the bills don't get paid. But I dare you to take a step of faith. Take a step of faith, take a day off each week, and watch how the Lord provides for your needs miraculously. Anyway, on the show today, I'm going to talk about King Solomon, which was King David's son, because there's this really cool movie coming out called The Song, starring Anthem Lights founder Alan Powell and singer and actress Caitlin Nicol-Thomas. The song's a modern telling of the story of Solomon, and I know some of you are thinking, how in the world did they do that? Didn't Solomon have like 700 wives? Yeah, he did. But you'll find out more about the movie later on in the show when I share with you my interview with Alan and Caitlin. So let's talk about King Solomon. Like I said before, King Solomon was the son of King David, and a married woman named Bathsheba had an affair with King David while her husband Uriah was away at war. And she becomes pregnant. She gives birth to a son, but unfortunately the baby dies. And if you're wondering what happened to Uriah, well, before the baby came, David had Uriah killed at war. It's a pretty sad story. David is known as a man after God's own heart, and this shows that David was indeed flawed, but God still had mercy on him and still loves him, and David actually repented later on. And David and Bathsheba, they get married, and Bathsheba becomes pregnant again and has Solomon. And again, I love God's mercy here. David had a lot of wives, not as many as his son Solomon ended up having, but out of all David's sons, Solomon is chosen to become king by God. And Bathsheba was probably despised by David's other wives because of the sin she committed with David. But it seems like she did something right because Solomon was a God-fearing and God-loving man who found favor with God. And I love how God doesn't always choose the people we think he should choose. He looks at the heart. God loved Solomon right from the get-go. And it says in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 24, it says just that God loved Jedediah, which is the actual name for Solomon. If you want the full story of Bathsheba and David, read 2 Samuel chapter 11 through 12. And if you like to read novels, as I do, I highly recommend the book called Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers. She took each woman who had a part in the lineage of Christ and created this whole story around the facts that were given in the Bible. She created dialogue and a storyline. She didn't go too far from what the storyline was, but she gave it a little bit more character, more imagery. My favorite so far is her telling of the story of Ruth. She really brings these Bible stories to life. I highly recommend it. There's one for Tamar, for Rahab, for Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. I'm currently finishing up the one for Bathsheba, and it's fantastic. So that's the birth of Solomon. So we're talking about King Solomon because there's this new cool movie coming out called The Song, hitting theaters September 26th. The movie's a modern telling of King Solomon's life, basically. And as said earlier, Solomon was born to King David and Bathsheba in 2 Samuel, and Solomon was known to be the wisest ruler of all time. He asked the Lord for wisdom, and God gave it to him in abundance. But when it came to women, he was not wise at all. He married many, many women, 700 to be exact, not including his 300 concubines. So he had 900 women in his palace. I mean, married to one woman is hard enough. Imagine 900 women wanting your attention all the time. And these women did not practice his faith either. They didn't believe in the one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they pulled him away from God, and he unfortunately began to worship their gods, their idols. Now, prior to this, he built a beautiful temple for the Lord. The temple was actually his father's idea, King David's idea, but the Lord denied him that request because David was a man of war and Solomon wasn't. Solomon reigned in Israel at a time of peace. So Solomon started out really strong. He had the favor of God upon him, and God loved him. But unfortunately, he was pulled down by his relationships, his unwise choices. It was his weakness. And eventually, because of his sin, the kingdom was torn into two. Boy, we could make a whole sermon series out of that. If you want the full scoop on Solomon, read 1 Kings chapter 1 through 11. You can also read the Song of Solomon, which is about Solomon and his lover, the Shunammite woman, and Ecclesiastes. To me, Ecclesiastes is quite a depressing book because in it Solomon is pondering life and the meaning thereof. And it seems it was at a point where he turned his heart away from the Lord and just questioning life. He didn't know what to do with himself. So read it and you'll know what I mean. So I got to chat with Alan Powell and Caitlin Nicol-Thomas from the new movie coming out called The Song, a modern telling of the story of Solomon, and I'm so excited to share the interview with you right now on the Des Child Show. Enjoy. All right. I'm here at Creation Northeast 2014 with the co-founder of the very popular band Anthem Lights, singer-songwriter Alan Powell, and actress, singer, and professional fiddle player, right? Is it fiddler or fiddle player?
I'm a fiddler,
A
but you
fiddler.
can say fiddle player.
Fiddle player.
You're
Yes,
a
ma'am.
fiddler.
I'm a fiddler.
Caitlin Nicol-Thomas. You just performed together here at Creation. Was it fun?
It was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How many songs did you guys do?
6
We
or 7 maybe?
did
Oh, you guys did a
7.
whole set.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Where were you? Huh? Des?
I'm sorry.
What's going
I
on?
was getting ready for your interview.
Not cool.
I
Not
needed
cool.
to hydrate and look good, you know?
For the recording.
Can I do that real quick?
Absolutely. Take your time. So you both star in a new movie called The Song, which is a modern version of the Song of Solomon. Very exciting. A very intimate book of the Bible, to say the least. Alan, you play Jed King, and Caitlin, you play the role of Shelby.
Yes.
Very cool. Tell us about the movie and how it compares to the story of Solomon with his young bride.
Yeah, very good question.
Thank you.
Well, you know, when you're doing a modern day adaptation of Solomon, like for instance, Solomon had 1,000 wives.
Yes, you did.
It's not really something that happens
No, not a wise
in our
move.
modern, and also not a wise move. So Caitlin actually plays the character of all 1,000 wives put into one
Okay.
person. So that's a tall
That
order.
was-
That
you
is
know?
a tall
Yeah.
order.
That's a really tall order.
Yeah.
Like, I'm every woman.
Exactly.
Houston, right?
Oh, I never thought about that. We could have been singing Whitney Houston.
should
have.
We were singing Whitney Houston
Man.
at
Put it
the
in
airport
your
last
set.
night.
We'll do it next time.
Thank
Done.
you.
And we'll credit you as well.
Very cool. I'll take
Um,
10%.
So you know the great writer-director named Richie Ramsey, what an inspiration he was. He did a great job of just overseeing the project. Even to this day, we're very, very grateful that he was the guy that we were working with. He did a great job of just of taking the struggles that Solomon dealt with in Song of Solomon and Ecclesiastes. There's a lot of ecclesiastical language and principles as well in the film. It's just Solomon in general. The love story between Jed's character and his wife Rose was certainly taken from Song of Solomon, but the Ecclesiastes is kind of the overarching struggle that he has in life, because that's what we deal with in life, right? That without God, life is meaningless.
Absolutely,
is
yes.
what we all have to wrestle with at some point. And so that speaks into every aspect of his life, not just his relationship with Rose, but his relationship with Shelby or his music. I mean, his kid, everything. So there were the struggle, if you will, was just what would it look like if Solomon lived in today's times? What are those struggles like? He's not going to have 1,000 wives. He's not going to he's not going to be the king of the world, you know.
Right.
But what if he's a singer-songwriter, and what if, you know, he still lives in his father's shadow like Solomon did? So Jed's father was a famous country singer, and he's trying to kind of get out of that and find his own way. Finally does something to find, you know, the song, if you will, propels him to stardom. And then once that happens, he has all the struggles that Solomon did, dealing with wisdom and what to do, and you know, I didn't deny myself anything my eyes desired. You know, all of these things that we kind of wrestle with as humans. The struggles are the same. You know, time changes and it looks different, but
Right.
the struggles are the same. So it's putting those principles into, you know, our times.
Very cool. I love it. I love the storyline. Tell us about Shelby. Tell us about the character.
Well, I will say we did a screening, some press on Monday, and that was the first time. I've been to a screening, but it was more of a private thing. This is the first time I sat there and in a whole theater full of people to see their reactions. And I literally cringed a couple times, and I was like, oh no, should I not be here? Because I do play the other woman. And a lot of times she's a mess. And but to get to play Shelby, I'm ridiculously proud of that I got to play her. I think she's a beautiful person. I'm hopeful, and she's such a talent. And being a professional musician myself, I don't know a specific Shelby, but I know so many people just like her, or so many parts that are on the road that I've just seen all of that before. And so it was really easy for me to relate to that. I probably couldn't have been more different in a lot of ways. That's what we all laugh about in the cast, is I'm more of a Rose in real life, kind of.
You look like a rose.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Thank you. And I don't want to tell viewers what to take away from the movie. I'm just hopeful that they see the message, and to not judge people, and to really see everyone played a part in the mistakes made in this kind of triangle.
Wonderful message.
But I'm just hopeful that everyone has their own journey. So
Absolutely. Great. Caitlin, you released your debut album in 2008. You were on the
Yeah.
TV show Nashville. You're a professional fiddler. Do you plan on pursuing acting more? And what's ahead for your music career too?
Yes, I do plan. I have an agent and go on auditions just like everyone else, and so I'm continuing that. Definitely hoping this opens a lot more doors. Being in Nashville, we're not in the biggest market. I have lived in LA and done that, but I'm very hopeful that there's more opportunity for me because I'm very passionate about acting. I love it. And as far as music, I just got off the road touring with other country artists and plan to do another solo album. So
Awesome. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Alan, you're in a group called Anthem Lights. You sing, you play guitar, you play piano. You've embarked on an acting career. Is this something you always wanted to do on top of music? Do you see yourself acting more?
Yeah, I mean, I make no apologies. My passion for film exceeds my passion for music, quite honestly.
Really?
It
Okay.
always has. It's the medium that moves me the most, you know. I can watch a film and just be, I don't know, it just motivates me, inspires me in a way that nothing else really does. So, I mean, I would be, it's funny, being at Creation Fest, I would be on a plane flying to Creation Fest reading a book on acting with no opportunities. I just loved it that much. So when this came along, it was obviously I was just so excited about it. And then I'd never, done a film before, and once we got in there and started shooting, I was like, well, this is incredible.
Done deal.
You're like hooked.
Yeah, I really was, and I love Anthem Lights. Obviously, still a part of Anthem Lights, and we're doing a lot of stuff. But I don't think that you necessarily have to do one or the other. So I'll continue to pursue opportunities that come and just kind of weigh them against what's going on and what makes the most sense.
Awesome.
I want to do them both.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Caitlin.
Yes.
Alan, best of luck on the song.
Pleasure to
Thank
be
We
here.
look forward to it coming out September 26th.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you gonna come see it
Congratulations.
tonight? You guys coming? 7
Yes.
o'clock?
Sure.
7
Why not?
o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Okay.
My dinner time.
Bring dinner with you. I'm sure it'll be
Yes.
great.
To find out more about the song, the movie, go to thesongmovie.com. The movie hits theater September 26th. So what has your heart? What keeps you from giving everything to the Lord today? Not tomorrow, today. What can we learn from Solomon? Do we want to start strong and end so far from the Lord that we're questioning life and the meaning of it, like he did in Ecclesiastes? So what has your heart? If you have a prayer request or you want to promote your upcoming project, please call me at 856-244-1503. You can also visit me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see the latest Des Childs happenings. I always love to hear from you. Have a great week and God bless.